Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have come to the weaving stage, the weaving of cotton. Weaving is the actual stage in which the raw materials are turned into the final fabric. Up until now, we have been preparing the raw materials, but this time now is time to make the actual fabric. Now that we have the yarn, in order to weave cotton into fabric at home, you'll first need a loom or a simple frame to hold the threads in place. A loom is a device to weave cloth and other materials by hand. It consists of a frame or machine with strings or wires stretched across it, onto which the threads are woven. The threads are then interlaced to create a solid and decorated fabric. So in order to to weave the cotton, we're just going to see in the next picture. If you don't have access to the machine called a loom, you can also do it as individuals, but it's going to need many hands. I was just going to show you how it works. But using the machine, what you do is you start by loading the threads onto the loom or the yarn onto the loom, and then start by winding that cotton yarn onto the loom, making sure that the tension is consistent. After that, then begin weaving the yarn over and under the warp threads, alternating directions to create a fabric. So those yarns that we have, let me just repeat, just show you the picture here. These yarns, some are going to be laid down horizontally, others are going to lay down vertically, and so that and then they are going to be woven together in a perpendicular manner. Each thread is going to be perpendicular to the other at the end, so that you end up with your desired fabric. So once you have woven the desired length of fabric, you have to carefully remove it from the loom and secure the edges to prevent fraying. The fraying is the falling of the individual pieces of fabric. At the end of the day, your fabric or clothes is going to tear. It is going to have a lot of holes, and it will look like a net or something like that is see-through, and that they are not going to stick together. So what you need to do is to remove them carefully there and make sure that those edges are secure in order to finally get your fabric. You can then wash and finish the fabric as needed using the chemicals that we spoke about in order to make the final type of clothing that you want. Obviously, you have to check and test them for allergic reactions as well, because even the dyes and the chemicals that we need, instead of they can actually end up doing more harm than good if we're not careful at this stage. So we mentioned that if you do not have the machine, the looming machine, this is how you can still do the weaving. But as you can see, there is just a small frame that these ladies have placed in the middle of them. So each of the ladies holds a few strands in their hands, and after that, then they are going to communicate as to which one goes under which one goes on top of the other. So when they have finally done that, obviously the first strand is going to go on top of the second one, and then the second one is going to the third one is going to go underneath the fourth one, and the fifth one is going to go on top of the sixth one, etc., until you form what we call a fabric. So when they're finished with all that, then all these remaining threads are going to be cut, and then what we see in the middle there is what we call a fabric. So this is what we later on use in making our own pieces of clothing. I'm sure it's a little bit clear at this stage now.